people? So we're back with another video. I hope you all been staying safe and staying free and enjoying that content with this beautiful weather we've been having. Now this one that I'm bringing to you all today is all about visits inside of UK prison. So let's get into it. So when it comes to visitation day, it is just like canteen day for a lot of prisoners inside a prison, and a lot of man will live for these 2 days. And this is the only day apart from court dates that you will see prisoners dressing up in their best clothes and even going out of their way to iron that they don't even do on the outside to see the little family and friends that they may have. Now, when it comes to your first visitation inside a prison and your first time being locked up, it will leave you feeling a certain way. And as a lot of prisoners, even if it's not for your first time, to see loved ones getting up and walking out that door to their freedom whilst you're sitting in that seat getting ready to go back to, the wing before your search. Now, when it comes to visitation day, depending what prison you're in, you can get double visits, which means you can book 2 single sessions together and make it a double visit. But depending what prison you're in, it might just be a case of getting 1 visit in the morning or 1 in the afternoon, but you can have still double visits, just broken up depending what prison you're in. Now, when it comes to putting in for your visitations inside a prison, you have to go to the screws at the desk and ask them for the form, and then you would have to request that day and slot and wait normally 2 days. But depending what you're like as a person, a lot of people, was amazed how I managed to get my visits approved there and then. It's because I always had manners, called them miss and sir, and it wasn't, no thing to me. Now, once you have put the request in for the dates and the slots you want, it goes into this booklet, and then you wait 2 days, come back onto the wing, obviously down to the desk, and then you check and it's been stamped to be if it's approved or not. Now, if it's not been approved and there's people on the wing that have visits and may have a couple of double visits on that same week, depending if you're a likable person, you might be able to get a man on the wing to drop one of his visits for you to in order to catch a visitation. Now, when it comes to your first visitation, it will have you up in your feelings, just like a lot of prisoners, even if it's not for your first time or your first time, to see loved ones sitting right across you whilst you're locked up inside a prison. It's one hell of a feeling. Now, especially when your visitation has been done, as when you even get a double visit and it could be an hour long, time goes so quick when you're catching up with loved ones, friends, it goes so quick, you wish you had more time. Now, when it's time for them to leave and go to the outside and get up to their freedom, you sit and remain in that seat and watch your loved ones walk out that door to their freedom whilst you wait in that seat being ready to go and get searched before you then hit the wing again back to your cell, depending if it's rec time or not. Now, this is one of 2 places inside a prison to where a lot of prisoners will feel a certain way. Just like when you get in your cell, a lot of emotions and thoughts will be running through your head. As when you're on a visitation, you might have children, you might have little brothers, sisters, or friends that are going out to the free world, and that's when another set of reality hits you. You go back to your cell knowing that people are doing all of the stuff that you wish you could be doing. Now, when it comes to the visitations for searches, when it comes to family members, kids, it doesn't matter, everyone will be searched before you go into the visitation room. Now, there will be, depending what prison you go into, they will have dogs, sniffer dogs for drugs, and you will be searched down on a body search, and then you would walk through a metal detector, or if you're not walking through a metal detector, there will be a screw standing there winding everyone down after you go past the dog and then get into the next bit for your search. Now, when it comes for the prisoners, it's the exact same thing, to where you come out of your cell, you go down to the end of your wing, you've got to get transported. It's quite a long process, as you have to wait in a little waiting room. They don't just instantly bring you out into the visitation room. You'll be in a waiting room for about 15, maybe 20 minutes, depending how early they come and get you or how early you are and the visitors are, to when they will then let you go and sit down at the tables. Now, when I'm telling you, only until when you go inside of prison and experience it for yourself, any problems that you have on the outside whilst you're inside a prison is magnified so much. That's why you might see in certain documentaries prisoners, you know, going mad on the phone, because there's situations whilst you're inside a prison that you're unable to control. It's out of your control because you're locked up. Now, one of the things that I experienced on a phone, not so much on a visitation, is to where the frustration kicks in on a phone, as if you hang up or the other person hangs up whilst you're inside a prison, mainly if the other person you're speaking to hangs up, it will get you up in your feelings and you will feel a certain way, as you know, you will have to go back to your cell. You can't ring that person till the next day. If it's a loved one that you be seeing, a girlfriend, your wife, or just a bird you be seeing in general, it will get to a lot of people, as like I said, there will be very small situations on the outside you might have not have took as serious until you was inside the prison, until you can't do nothing about it. Now, visitations used to be a place to where, and still to where, people will get people to come on a visit. Doesn't need to be a loved one, could just be a normal girl or someone that you're paying to come and bring drugs in. Now, I'm not snitching, as this method is on YouTube. It's been exposed. There's been people caught, you know, for bringing drugs into the visitation. Now, bringing drugs into the visitation is not as hard as what everyone thinks, but because you have it on your mind at the time of, you know, oh, I've got this on me and I shouldn't have, you've got all of the emotions, feelings running through you, and it is a risk that you are taking, as not only can they ban you from the prison, but you can be arrested for possession of the substance that you end up getting that person to come bring in, and it can be extra time for the person if you get caught in the visitation with drugs going back onto the wing as well. Now, visitations, like I said, it's one that every prisoner loves to live for, and it's something that makes you realize to who's really there for you and who's not. As when you're on an, you know, the free world, the outside, you always seem to think, oh, all of the people that's there for me would be the same people that's going to come and visit you, and that's not the case. You will hear every excuse under the sun to how someone can't come and visit you, but take this into consideration, as a lot of people don't get to see loved ones and friends. As I remember situations of man them being in the Isle of Wight, up, you know, out in North and all over, to where if you're from, you know, a local area like Southeast London, and you're not in, someone that you know is not in a Southeast London prison, and your mum might not drive, you know, she might not know someone that drives, or your baby mum, or whatever the case is, it will prove a difficult task for loved ones. And you can see the strain it takes on a loved one to come to the prison to see you, not because it's time and effort, because that's what loved ones do, but it's more of the fact of, you know, it probably took them 8 hours, as it has before when I've seen, when my brother was in, you know, Belmarsh and certain other prisons, to where it took us a good 3 hours to leave the ends to then get there in time, and it is all time costing. And if you don't have money like that, and you're the main provider and you're locked up inside a prison, and you expect your mom that's struggling, or your baby mom, your girlfriend, whatever it is, and they ain't got money like that, not everyone can afford to come and see your ass. And that's where a lot of prisoners will feel it too, as to be locked up inside a prison. And I've seen people get no visits, and it's a hurtful thing. And even when people book visits and no one shows up, I've seen that break people. And visitations is, like I said, like a canteen day, and when a man's in their cell, to where a situation, if it will make or break them, because the information and the emotions that a prisoner will be feeling will either make them explode or it will make them whilst they're inside a prison to continue to ride in their sentence. And that's true life talks. So I hope you all have enjoyed the video. Do drop your comments and your thoughts if you've ever had a situation to where you was inside a prison and had visits. Hope you all do stay safe and stay free.